Chapter 51 Large-Scale Haibodong Documentary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. P.S. Read the free chapters for fun. The Duki continent is full of sky. Who can see Brother Dong not handing him a cigarette? Yes, this is 2 stars stepping on Zong, and 5 stars reaching the top. The number 1 angel investor, Ice King Haibodong, is strong when he encounters strong people and perish when he encounters snakes. Don't ask why Hai Lao investment was so successful, while Doupo investment next door failed. The question is just one sentence: it is better to rely on fire than to rely on 3. And not a single map in Abi's hands is sold for free. It was because of Lu Chi that he accidentally broke into the territory of the snake people. Fortunately, his strength was sealed by Queen Medusa, and he met Emperor Yen later. Emperor Yen not only lifted the seal on Hai Lao, but also gave him a job, letting Hai Lao be Yan Di's guard for a year. It's just that this job doesn't include food or housing, and it's exhausting to take care of the family. At the alchemist conference, when Hai Lao heard Jia Lao say, "Hey Haibodong, when did you make such a cowardly friend?" Haibodong thought to himself, how can I, a dignified angel investor, see the wrong person? But after hearing what you said, I remembered that I had such a cowardly friend. He became a commentator when he was raped, and a wounded person in a fight. When Emperor Yen was chased by Yunlan sect. Hai Lao, who already knew the direction of the script, stood in front of Emperor Yen regardless of his own safety. Don't risk your life, Emperor Yen will protect you. When Jia Lao saw this situation, he said something that would be shocking even in the history of the entire world. It seems that Xiao Yen has a great temptation for Haibodong. Abi, who has been in the business for many years, just replied calmly, "Just think of this as my big gamble." In the Yunlan sect, Abi performed a hat trick and saved Emperor Yen 3 times. From then on, Abi's destiny to counterattack and become the gambling sage began to turn. 3 years later, the Yunlan sect launched a massive attack on the Mitre family. Hai Lao was trapped in the formation. You looked like Hai Lao was panicking, but in fact he was scared to death. No, in fact he was as steady as an old dog. On the surface, it was Xiao Yen who was stuck to save the situation, but in fact, it was Hai Lao who was betting. The moment he saw the purple pill of restoration, Hai Lao knew, from now on, Haibodong, will not be bound. After General MacArthur, who was far away in Zhongzhou, heard about this incident, he commented, "At first, I thought Hai Lao and Xiao Yen were brothers, but in fact they were brothers-in-law." Originally, Xiao Yen and Hai Lao were one person and one person. Unfortunately, although Hai Lao won, I also lost miserably. In the end, Hai Lao Meng Dai, you are both a blessing and a calamity. Chapter 52 Haibodong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In order to speed up their arrival in Machan, Xiaoling awakened the Rayquaza on his wrist, and the 2 of them rode the Rayquaza at full speed towards Machan. 1 day later, on the eastern border of the Gama Empire, on the edge of the Tagore Desert, there was Desert City. A slender creature galloped across the sky, and a blue channel was cut through the surrounding clouds, making it particularly eye-catching. With Rayquaza's speed surpassing that of ordinary Dozong experts, it only took about a day for Shimo City to appear in their sight. Xiaoling said to Ziyan on the side, "Let's walk over together. Don't be too conspicuous. Don't steal the medicinal materials from other people's treasure houses, so as not to get into trouble. When the time comes, others will say that I am a dignified 6th-grade refiner. It doesn't sound good if the pharmacist steals medicinal materials." Ziyan scratched her head and said with a guilty conscience, I know, don't worry, I won't do such a thing." Seeing Ziyan's appearance, Xiaoling on the side shook her head helplessly. It was obvious that this was what this girl had just thought. Patting Rayquaza's back, Rayquaza, who was connected to Xiaoling's mind, gradually began to shrink in size, and then wrapped around Xiaoling's wrist and got into his sleeve. After stuffing a 4th-grade elixir into his sleeve, Rayquaza swallowed it in one gulp, licked Xiaoling's fingers, then put his head back and fell asleep. After patting the little guy on the head, Xiaoling said with some humor, "It's really hard for you to drive at full speed all day long, so take a good rest." After the 2 fell from Rayquaza, they spread their fighting wings and flew towards the city gate. When they were still a few hundred meters away from the city, Xiaoling and Ziyan's flying speed gradually slowed down. Their bodies trembled slightly, and the fighting spirit wings behind them turned into energy points and slowly dissipated. In the air, perhaps due to its proximity to the desert, the weather here is quite dry and hot. The blazing sunshine shines down from the sky, baking the earth under your feet, constantly exuding a smoky heat, and the heat rises slowly. It also caused people's vision to appear slightly distorted and blurred. After checking the situation inside his body, he found that the activity level of the fire attribute had a certain improvement effect. The soul perception in the center of the eyebrows emanates, and it is noticed that the air here is filled with a large amount of fire attribute and earth attribute energy. If you practice these two attributes here, the efficiency will be improved, but it will be different from the inner courtyard. Compared with the Tianfen Qi training tower, it is not worth mentioning. As we gradually approach the city, there are more and more passers-by around us. Most of these passers-by are men with bare arms and dark skin. At first glance, they seem to be quite bold, and the occasional passers-by, although the skin of the woman is also slightly dark, it has a somewhat sexy bronze color. The woman here is not as reserved and shy as the women in the empire. A tight-fitting leather jacket just barely covers her breasts and the skin underneath. A little area is covered, but those slender waists are boldly exposed. The slender and tight thighs are also only wrapped by some short skirts or shorts. When walking, the waist twists like a water snake. It has a charming charm and style. However, Xiaoling only glanced at these scenes that could be regarded as stunning beauty to others, and then withdrew his gaze. Now Xiaoling's eyes have been raised by Han Yu and Xiao Suner. The seniors at Canaan College were not as good as him, which naturally made Xiaoling less interested. Not far from the city gate, Xiaoling took out the alchemist's robe and put on the third-level alchemist badge he had obtained before. He originally planned to use his identity as a second-level alchemist to avoid some trouble, but the third-level alchemist is still a bit conspicuous. After all, Xiaoling doesn't like to be stared at by everyone, and there is no sense of accomplishment in pretending to be 13 in front of these Do masters. It's a pity that he reached the third level not long after learning, and there is no lower badge. This is also a kind of helplessness of a genius. At the gate of the city, a dozen soldiers in armor, holding long guns, were shouting at passers-by entering the city to pay the city entry tax. Perhaps because of the hot weather, the soldiers guarding here were also a little irritated by the irritable weather. They shouted and cursed unceremoniously and kept urging passers-by at the city gate. Because their temperaments and attire were quite distinctive, they were quickly noticed by passers-by and soldiers at the door. Noticing Xiaoling's alchemist robe and the third-grade alchemist badge on his chest, everyone around them cast their eyes of envy, admiration, and yearning at the two. The pedestrian stopped and moved to both sides to make way. Xiaoling didn't say much, and walked straight towards the city gate with Ziyan. When the soldiers guarding the city gate saw the two people approaching, one of the soldiers quickly stepped forward and bowed. His unkind look towards others just now also changed. He became flattering and said, "This alchemist, if you need to go to the city, please come in. You have a distinguished status and there is no need to queue up." He nodded slightly, walked towards an empty passage next to him, casually took out a first-grade elixir from the ring, threw it towards the soldier, and then asked, "Where is the largest map shop in Wacheng?" The soldier's quick eyesight and quick hands caught the elixir. He could not help but feel intoxicated by the scent of the medicine on it. He quickly bowed to Xiaoling and replied respectfully, "There is a man named Gu Tu in Wacheng. There is a map in the map shop here. The approximate location is written on it. The alchemist might as well take a look." He immediately took out a map from his body and handed it to Xiaoling. When the soldiers around him saw that this man had benefited, they all looked at him with envy and hatred. They regretted that they had not gone up to please the alchemist just now and missed the opportunity. Ignoring this person again, Xiaoling took the map, took Ziyan into the passage, and then slowly disappeared into the darkness in the city wall passage, holding the elixir in his hand tightly and looking at the envious eyes around him. The soldier couldn't help but sigh, "Fortunately, I am smart enough. Otherwise this benefit would not be mine." Following the map given by the soldier, Xiaoling and Ziyan quickly arrived in front of a store. Xiaoling took a look outside. This store was not as luxurious and flamboyant as other stores. Instead, it had a simple atmosphere. At a glance, he knew that the owner was not a simple person, no longer thinking about other thoughts. Xiaoling slowly walked into the store with Ziyan. The interior of the store was not too spacious. The faint light of the two moonstones illuminated the store quite brightly. His eyes were on the interior of the store. After scanning it, there were not many people coming to buy the map, and it looked deserted. If Xiaoling hadn't read the original book, he would probably wonder if he had gone to the wrong place. After entering the store, Xiaoling noticed the old man behind the counter. He was wearing a blue robe, with white hair hanging casually behind him. He had an icy aura around him. He was obviously a strong man who practiced ice attribute fighting spirit. This old man is obviously quite old, but even though he is quite old, the dry palm holding the black drawing pen is still steady and strong. Seeing this scene, Xiaoling couldn't help but murmur in her heart, Haibodong, the Dochi mainland angel investor, finally found you. Chapter 53, The Remaining Map of the Pure Lotus Demonic Fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Take your eyes away from Haibodong and do not make a sound to interrupt his drawing work. Xiaoling took Ziyan to the shelf where maps were placed in the store. After casually searching, he first selected a map of the surrounding towns, and then took out a map of the Tagar Desert. After carefully examining it, Xiaoling could not help but sigh, it is worthy of being a map drawn by a former Dohuang strongman. It is not at the same level as others. Even some areas of the Tagar Desert are marked. I don't know if this old guy deliberately got lost in the desert before. After picking up the two maps, Xiaoling exuded soul perception and began to explore the remaining map of the pure lotus demon fire hidden in this store. With the soul perception that has reached the spiritual realm, Xiaoling soon found a hot energy in the corner of the store. It should be the half of the remaining map that appeared in the store in the original book. I don't know where the other half of the remaining map was hidden by Haibodong. I didn't even find it. This former Dohuang strongman still has some tricks. Walking towards the quaint wooden shelf in the corner of the shop, Xiaoling looked around. This wooden shelf was obviously very old, and it was covered with holes in rotten wood. On it, some yellowed maps were randomly piled up. Looking at the broken marks on the surface of these maps, it seemed that they were failed products when making maps. He casually flipped through these yellowed maps, and a faint musty smell came to his face. He frowned slightly and threw some failed maps on it aside. A broken picture only the size of a palm appeared in front of Xiaoling. Seeing this scene, Xiaoling was delighted. The broken map of the third place in the strange fire list, the necessary item to subdue the pure lotus demon fire, was actually found in this remote Jiama Empire. Grasping it in his hand, Xiaoling put it into his ring without hesitation, and said, "Old sir, this fragment should only be half of the map. I will buy the other half. Please name your price." This voice reached Haibodong behind the counter. He paused slightly in drawing the map, and the route he was carefully drawing also showed a slight deviation. Obviously, he could not continue to draw it. But Haibodong didn't care about it at all, but said in a cold tone, "Have you seen such a fragment of the map before?" Ziyan, who was standing aside, was unhappy when she heard the old man's arrogant attitude. She waved her fist and said angrily, "You stinky old man, can't you hear me?" Hearing this, Haibodong's face instantly turned ugly. One of the top 10 strong men in the Jiama Empire, the famous Ice Emperor Haibodong, was actually scolded by a little girl. If others know about it in the future, will I, Haibodong, still have face? He released a wave of icy fighting spirit all over his body, causing the temperature in the map shop to drop by more than 10 degrees in an instant. He looked at Xiaoling and Ziyan with a dim gaze, and said in a bad tone, "Little girl, didn't your elders tell you that if you offend someone you shouldn't offend outside, you will lose your life?" The people who came in to choose maps around him saw this tense scene and didn't dare to stay here any longer, and left the shop one after another. Just when Ziyan wanted to step forward to take action, Xiaoling beside her touched her head, pulled her behind him, and then said to Haibodong, "Old man, we just planned to buy a map. I am a 6th grade alchemist. Maybe I can help you remove the seal on your body." He immediately took out the 6th grade alchemist badge from the ring, put it on his chest, stretched out his right hand, and a golden flame jumped up, emitting a heat that distorted the space a little, causing the temperature that had just dropped due to Haibodong's release of momentum to rise a lot in an instant. Haibodong on the opposite side saw this scene and felt the heart-pounding temperature. He couldn't help but exclaimed, "A 6th grade alchemist, and a 6th grade alchemist with strange fire, how is it possible, so young, which force cultivated you? The Jia Ma Empire can never cultivate talents like you." He immediately retracted the ice-fighting spirit he released into his body. A 6th grade alchemist with strange fire can just help him refine the breaking evil pill. Could it be that the opportunity for me, Ice Emperor Haibodong, to recover lies in this person? Seeing Haibodong restrain his aura, Xiaoling also took back the Golden Emperor Burning Heaven flame and replied with a smile, "My name is Xiaoling, I am an elder of Canaan College in the Black Horn region, and a member of the Xiao family in Wutan City, Jia Ma Empire." Since Haibodong has been living in seclusion on the edge of the desert for many years and has no contact with the people in the Meitel family, he has never heard of Xiaoling's name. However, since the other party introduced himself first, Haibodong also said, "I didn't expect that the Jia Ma Empire would have a monster like you. It's my ignorance. My name is Meitel Haibodong, and I am the supreme elder of the Meitel family. I was once named Ice Emperor. Decades ago, I was sealed by the Queen Medusa of the Snake tribe because of my fighting spirit, so I lived in seclusion on the edge of this remote desert." Xiaoling pretended to be very surprised and said in surprise, "It turned out to be the Ice Emperor Senior. I didn't expect that the Senior disappeared for many years because of such a hidden story." After waving his hand, Haibodong replied nonchalantly, "It's all in the past, so there's no need to mention it anymore." He then asked with some anticipation, "Master Xiaoling also saw that the map was incomplete. With many years of experience in drawing, I divided it into 2 pieces, and hid the other piece. Unless I took it out, no one would be able to get it. This piece was mine at Tagore University many years ago. I got it in the desert. For this reason, I even had a hand and foot with Queen Medusa, and ended up like this. Based on my knowledge, I think the origin of this map must be extraordinary. I have not wasted my time these years. Over time, in order to break the seal on my body, I found a prescription called Purden, which could break the seal on me, but it required refining with strange fire. In the Jia Empire, even Yunlan Sect's Kaching Elder Furukawa also I haven't subdued the strange fire. I see that there is a strange fire in Master. As long as Master Xiaoling can refine an Eden for me, I will give you another map with both hands. Otherwise, even if I am hit here, even if you kill him, I won't reveal any information about that map." Xiaoling knew something about Haibodong's character, so he had no intention of robbing him. Moreover, he was a natural worker, so why not do it? So he smiled and said to Haibodong, "Give me the medicinal materials and prescription, and I will help you refine a Purden. The reward will be the other half of the map fragment." Chapter 54, Set Out to Find the Sand Mandala. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing that Xiaoling agreed to the transaction method he proposed, Haibodong was a little happy at first, and then as if he suddenly thought of something, his face became a little embarrassed. He opened his mouth to speak, but closed it again. He looked embarrassed to speak. When Xiaoling saw Haibodong's attitude, he probably guessed that he was embarrassed to say that the medicinal ingredients were short of sand datura, which was a bit funny. So I planned to give him a step down and asked, "Mr. Hai, is it because the time for obtaining this prescription is short and 3 copies of the medicinal materials have not been collected yet?" Seeing that there was a step down, Haibodong took it, touched his beard, and said helplessly, "That's true. I have almost prepared the medicinal ingredients for this prescription, except for the name Shaji. The medicinal material of datura grows in the Tagore Desert. Unfortunately, my strength has not yet recovered. I practice ice-based exercises, and I have been sealed by Queen Medusa. If I get close to the depths of the Tagore Desert, She sensed that I originally planned to find a few plants based on my previous connections, but now Master Xiaoling is here. If you can help find the sand mandala, I will owe you a favor. The corner of Xiaoling's mouth twitched. The number of sand mandala was controlled by the snake tribe. If he really went to the Tagar Desert to search for it, he would have to be lucky to find one. So he said, as far as I know, this mandala of sand is firmly controlled by the snake tribe. Could it be that Hai Lao asked me, a little fighting king, to come and fight against Queen Medusa, who is at the peak of fighting kings? Haibodong was a little embarrassed when he heard this, but he still asked, Master, do you have any good methods? As long as I can refine this poor Dan, after I return to the Mitre family, any medicinal materials can be used by you. Pick. Xiaoling nodded slightly and said, Don't worry, I am still confident of obtaining a mandala of sand. I will happily accept the medicinal materials when the time comes. After my tribe moves to the imperial capital, I will not stay there often. In the family, Mr. Hai will have to take care of me after he regains his strength. Hearing Xiaoling's answer, Haibodong couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that he could still get the poor Dan and finally return to the level of fighting emperor. As for taking care of the Xiao family members, even if Xiaoling doesn't say anything, Haibodong will definitely take care of him. Not to mention Xiaoling, a young 6th-grade alchemist who has a bright future, and he will definitely not suffer any loss if he makes a good friend in advance. Besides, after he got the poor Dan, Xiaoling did him a big favor. Although Haibodong was arrogant by nature, he was very emotional. It was the right thing to take care of Xiaoling's people. Smiling and nodding, Haibodong said, Don't worry, when I recover to the level of Douhuang and return to the imperial capital, I will definitely help you take care of your family. You can just rest assured and practice outside. Not continuing the topic, Xiaoling asked Haibodong again, I heard about the appearance of strange fires in the Tagar Desert. Mr. Hai has been living in seclusion here for many years. Do you have any clues about this? Hearing Xiaoling mention the news about the strange fire, Haibodong was a little confused. After all, Xiaoling already possessed a strange fire and could not absorb another kind of strange fire at the same time. For this reason, although he had some strange fire in his body, however, he did not use it as a bargaining chip, but since people were curious, just tell him. I am very interested in drawing maps. I once wandered around the Tagore Desert, and I was lucky enough to get some news about strange fires. I did some detection of the locations and routes in these messages. Although we are still not sure where the strange fire is, but we can roughly know which place has a higher probability of having the strange fire. Hai Donghua said with a proud smile. After finishing speaking, he took out a map from the counter drawer and handed it to Xiaoling. He smiled and said, In my detection, there are 3 places in the Tagar Desert that are most likely to have strange fires. Existence. Taking the parchment, Xiaoling spread it out and found that it was an extremely detailed map of the Tagore Desert. This map was not comparable to the previous maps on the counter. Not only was it accurate, it marked the places where water sources existed in the desert, and also carefully marked the snake tribes scattered in the desert. Did you see the 3 flame symbols on the map? Haibodong reminded with a smile. Hearing this, Xiaoling glanced at the map, and sure enough he found that there was a very conspicuous flame mark in the 3 directions of the map. These 3 places are the places with the highest probability of hiding strange fires in the Tagar Desert. Pointing to the 3 flame marks, Haibodong smiled and said, Of course, this is just deduced through my detection. Where the accuracy is impossible to reach 100%, but it is undoubtedly much better than letting you fumble around. Xiaoling nodded slightly. Although he had the strange fire in his body and his soul perception had reached the spiritual realm, after all, the Tagar Desert has such a large area. It is indeed extremely difficult to find a place where the strange fire exists. And Haibodong's detailed map will undoubtedly save me a lot of time and energy, and Xiaoling, who has read the original work, knows it very well. As long as he searches in the eastern area, he can probably find the green lotus under the ground. Medusa has not been there yet. The strange fire and lotus terrace were served in one pot. Xiaoling put the map into the ring, clasped his fists towards Haibodong, and thanked him. "Thank you, Hai Lao. My partner and I will go to find the sand mandala first. After refining the breaking evil pill for Hai Lao, I will go to look for this strange fire." After saying that, he took Xi Yan's hand and walked out of the map shop. Looking at the two people leaving, Haibodong touched his beard and said, "I hope you can come back smoothly. By then, I can also recover my Do Huang cultivation. I, Haibodong, don't want to be bound all the time." After leaving the store, Xiaoling and Ziyan spread their doqi wings and flew towards the depths of the Tagar Desert. The passers-by around saw this scene and took a breath of cold air. They didn't expect that there were two Do Wang strongmen in this desert city. After reaching the air, Xiaoling woke up the split sky seat, which had not slept for a long time, and took Ziyan to its back. Looking at the map in his hand and touching Ziyan's smooth purple hair, Xiaoling said with a smile, "Whether we can get the sand mandala by then will depend on your contribution." Chapter 55 Heading to the Snake Tribe. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ziyan on the side heard this and said with some confusion, "What does this have to do with me? I don't know that Queen Medusa either." Xiaoling smiled and began to explain to Ziyan, "First of all, your true body is a Warcraft, and Queen Medusa is a snake man, and also has the real body of Warcraft. You will definitely feel more intimate together, and she looks so cute, so Queen Medusa will definitely not be embarrassed." Xiaoling, who has read the original work, knows that Queen Medusa likes Ziyan very much, maybe because she is the same monster, or because Ziyan is cuter, so she took Ziyan with her to exchange for the sand mandala. The probability of success will definitely increase. After touching Ziyan's little head, Xiaoling said again, "As long as you can say a few nice words this time, if we can successfully exchange the mandala of sand from Queen Medusa's hands, then we will definitely. It is indispensable for you to benefit from it, and it is not a problem to give you a 6th-grade medicinal plant from the reward given by Haibodong." Hearing that there were still medicinal materials that could be earned, a golden light flashed in Ziyan's eyes. She raised her little head, patted her flat chest, and said confidently, "Don't worry, leave it to me, Mississippi. I will definitely try my best." Seeing the funny look of Ziyan's outfit, Xiaoling couldn't help but smile, and patted the back of the empty seat underneath him. He looked up to the sky and roared, then accelerated his speed and flew towards the depths of the desert. Above the clear sky, a huge scorching sun hangs high in the sky, like a big fireball that is constantly releasing flames. The blazing sunshine is swayed in the golden desert, turning the tiny grains of sand smoked and roasted like small red-hot iron particles. In the desert, due to the blazing temperature, wisps of hot air seeped out from the yellow sand, eventually evaporating the space into something distorted and illusory. At a glance, this boundless desert seems to stretch into the distance without end. There was no one around as far as the eye could see, only the raging wind blowing and raising dust all over the sky. They were like enraged giant beasts, roaring and rolling, forming huge waves of sand, constantly impacting everything around them. These sand grains collide and rub against each other, making a rustling sound, like a tragic and desolate symphony, echoing in this desolate world. Suddenly, in the sky above the desert, a black figure rushed past, tearing a gap in the clouds, which looked particularly spectacular. What caused such power was a slender black monster, and on its back, Xiaoling and Ziyanjing had already stood up. Looking towards an oasis that appeared in their sight, Xiaoling withdrew his distant gaze and looked down at the map he took from Haibodong's shop. The finger moved along the route, and finally slowly stopped on a red dot that represented danger. There were 8 such small red dots in the entire map, and they were distributed in several different places in the desert. Direction: among the snake people in the Tagore Desert, in addition to some small and medium-sized tribes, there are 8 huge guys, which are the 8 red dots on the map. They are the most powerful among the snake people. The tribe has a very high status in the desert. Except for Queen Medusa, even they don't like each other. 8 behemoths dominated several directions of the Tagore Desert, and deep in the desert, a main road drawn on the map was intercepted by the red dot pointed by Xiaoling's finger. Looking at the small oasis located in a plain, Xiaoling began to think, it seems that ahead is one of the 8 major tribes of the snake tribe. Judging from the direction, it should be the tribe led by Yue Mei. I know if the snake is taking a bath now, and let me know about the snake's physical condition. Thinking of this, Xiaoling planned to investigate, and the soul perception in the center of his eyebrows spread out, scanning the specific situation of the oasis. What makes Xiaoling a little regretful is that not to mention seeing Commander Yue Mei taking a bath, there is not even a snake girl. It seems that the timing of her arrival is not coincidental, and she is not as lucky as Xiao Yan. No longer thinking about these irrelevant things, after a few minutes of flight, I crossed the oasis and was not far from the red dot marked on the map, this time looking for the mandala of sand. Xiaoling planned to go directly to Queen Medusa to exchange for one. Otherwise, if he had to stay in the Tagar Desert to search, he would not know if he could find one for 10 days and a half. Xiaoling doesn't intend to waste time here. There is a green-scaled little girl waiting for him to pick her up in Stone Desert City, and there is a green lotus under the ground waiting for him to devour the inner fire. There are many things on his hands, and with Zi Yan, Medusa's future good friend, negotiating with him, as long as he can come up with a sincere enough price, it shouldn't be a problem to exchange for a sand mandala. Even if Queen Medusa wanted to do something to her, with Rayquaza's speed faster than most fighting sects, there would still be no problem in leaving safely. When the time came to leave, she grabbed a Do Wang and exchanged it for the mandala of sand. She didn't believe that Queen Medusa could be so cruel as to abandon her own people. Soon after, in Xiaoling's eyes, the vast desert was like a golden ocean, and a tribe appeared in this ocean like a lonely boat. As expected, it should be the location of the charming snake tribe. After putting the sky-splitting seat back into his sleeves, Xiaoling took Zi Yan, spread his Do Qi wings, and flew towards the charming snake tribe in front. The two drew two golden and purple rays of light in the air, and their momentum showed no sign of restraining, which soon attracted the attention of the snake guards on the city wall. Do Qi turned into wings. It's a Do Wang strongman. How could a human Do Wang strongman come to the snake tribe? Beware, beware, a human Do Wang strongman is going to attack the snake tribe. Hurry up and inform Commander Yue Mei, the opponent's strength is too strong. That the snake people on the city wall acted quickly and raised their weapons. It seemed that when Xiaoling and Zi Yan entered the attack range, they would activate the Wuhan in their hands and launch a fierce attack. Xiaoling and the other person hovered in the air outside the gate of the tribe. The snake people in this area could not attack, and the atmosphere suddenly became quiet. After a brief commotion, the snake people calmed down. Seeing that the human warriors above had no intention of attacking, they did not attack rashly, but looked at Xiaoling with fear. Hovering in the air, Xiaoling looked at the center of the city. With the exploration of his soul perception, he found that there was an aura of Do Wang's 7 stars. If nothing unexpected happened, it should be Yue Mei, one of the 8 commanders. After a while, in the tallest building in the tribe, a snake woman spread her Do Qi wings and flew quickly towards the city gate. Chapter 56 Yue Mei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The snake tribe woman flew to the city wall, then hovered, staring at Xiaoling and Zi Yan with solemn eyes, and said in a bad tone, 2 strong human fighting kings are coming to Taga University. What is there in the depths of the desert? We snake people don't welcome humans. In Yue Mei's perception, the cultivation level of the young man with blue hair and white robe is slightly weaker than hers, so there is nothing to worry about. However, the cultivation level of the little girl behind the young man is much higher than hers. Giving her the pressure was like facing a peak warrior from the snake tribe, and when she looked at the little girl, there was always a feeling of fear in her heart, which made her feel very unsure. If these 2 people came, if you are not kind, I am afraid that the snake tribe will be in big trouble today. Seeing the wary look on Yue Mei's face opposite, Xiaoling waved his hand, took out the elder token of Canaan College from the ring, and said in a calm tone, I am an elder of the alchemy department from Canaan College. Behind me is my companion Zi Yan. She is a transformed monster. We have no hostility towards the snake people. Commander Yue Mei must have misunderstood. He came directly to the door this time to do a business with you snake people. Yes. Believe me, this will do you no harm. After hearing Xiaoling's explanation, she recalled that before she arrived here just now, these 2 people had not taken action against the snake people, and these 2 powerful warriors were not from the surrounding empires, and the little girl was still of the transforming monster has a faint sense of oppression. It seems that the blood in its body must be extraordinary, so it has no enmity with the snake people. I have heard before that Canaan College is a force with strong men from the Do sect, so I still can't offend it. Although the snake people say they have a feud with humans, if they really want to hate all the humans on the Dochi continent, how can they stand on it? You must know that although there are thousands of races in the Dochi continent, the human race is still the dominant race. If any human race, a strong man cannot see the snake people harming humans. Seeing that the snake people are displeased, he directly takes action to destroy the snake people. That would be a huge disgrace. Then the vigilant expression on his face dissipated a little, revealing a charming smile, and said softly, "It turns out that the two are elders from Canaan College. They were very wary just now, but we, the snake people, have lost our etiquette. Since you want to make a deal with us snake people, you can have a good talk and follow me into the city to have a detailed discussion." After finishing speaking, he twisted his graceful waist and snake tail. With a flick, he flew towards a building in the city. Seeing Yue Mei flying towards the city first, Xiaoling didn't intend to waste time here, so he took Ziyan and chased in the direction of Yue Mei. With a slight flutter of fighting spirit wings, the two of them quickly landed in front of an attic. The snake men in the city, who were a little uneasy just now, breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that it was not the neighboring countries coming to attack. If these strong men fight, the victims must be these civilians who have no ability to protect themselves. Yue Mei, who arrived earlier than the other two, saw that Xiaoling and Ziyan had already followed her. She gave them a polite smile, and then said to the snake people around them, "I will be here with you. The two distinguished guests have discussed something, and you all need to stand guard outside. You are not allowed to come in without my permission. Anyone who disobeys this order will be severely punished." The surrounding snake men nodded in agreement, walked outside the attic and surrounded him tightly. I don't know whether it was because the precautionary discussions were spread, or whether it was because of the gathering of people who could provide timely reinforcements if there was a conflict between the two sides. Xiaoling didn't care at all about this scene. These great fighting masters and fighting spirits did not pose any threat to himself and Ziyan. After Yue Mei made arrangements for the snake men, she smiled and said to Xiaoling, "You too, please come with me, and we'll talk inside." She pointed to a private room inside and walked into it first. Xiaoling also held Ziyan's little hand and followed her to the box. After seeing that both parties were already seated, Yue Mei, as the owner of this place, took the lead and said, "What kind of deal do you want to do with us when you come to the snake tribe this time? You might as well tell us now." Xiaoling didn't show off, and said directly, "We came here this time to exchange a sand mandala with the snake people. I am short of this medicinal plant when refining the elixir. I wonder if you can make it happen." Ziyan, who was sitting on the side, also said, "Sister Yue Mei, Xiaoling is a 6th-grade alchemist. What he comes up with will definitely satisfy you snake people." Yue Mei, who was opposite, was a little surprised when she heard what the two said. Sand mandala has always been used to allow those talented people in the snake tribe to fuse snake monsters that suit them. This medicinal material is currently used by her. I don't have any in my own hands. Only Queen Medusa in the snake tribe's holy city has some sand mandalas in stock. Hearing Ziyan mention that Xiaoling was actually a 6th-grade alchemist, she looked at him carefully again, with a hint of surprise in her eyes. She hadn't looked carefully just now, but now that she was closer, she discovered this person. Although he is not short in height, his appearance is very young. He is only 15 or 16 years old. At such an age, he can break through the Do Wang. He is also a 6th-level alchemist. After so many years, such a genius has never been seen before. I've been there, but I haven't even heard of it. Fortunately, he is not someone trained by the surrounding empire forces, otherwise the snake people would have another powerful enemy with extraordinary talents. After Yue Mei stared at Xiaoling's face with somewhat complicated eyes for a while, she smiled and said softly, "I didn't expect that a 6th-grade alchemist was in front of me. I was a bit disrespectful just now, so I asked Xiaoling, Master, I forgive you, but I didn't expect that Master Xiaoling has already reached the Do Wang level at such a young age, and his attainments as an alchemist are also quite extraordinary." After a slight pause, he spoke again, "But I'm really sorry. Among the snake people, San Datura is also a very rare medicinal material. It is strictly controlled by the top management and is stored in the holy city of Medusa. In the Queen's hands, the Mei snake tribe is currently out of stock, and I'm afraid Master Xiaoling will be disappointed." After listening to Yue Mei's explanation, Xiaoling didn't have much emotion. After all, such a situation had been expected before, so he said, "Then please ask Commander Yue Mei to help us meet Queen Medusa and take us with her. Go to the snake tribe to make a deal. After the deal is completed, you will be rewarded accordingly." After thinking for a while, Yue Mei replied softly with a very embarrassed tone, "Then I don't know what kind of reward Master Xiaoling can give to impress me. The Queen and the elders don't like human beings very much. If I take two strange warriors to the holy city, I might even anger the Queen and some elders, and I will have to suffer some punishment." Knowing that he was planning to get some benefits, Xiaoling thought for a while and then said, "As long as you can prepare 3 ingredients for the Douling Dan, I can refine a Douling Dan for you. With this Douling Dan with Dan's help, it won't take long for Commander Yue Mei to enter the realm of Douhuang." Yue Mei is obviously a little moved. Now her cultivation has reached the peak of the 7-star Dou King. After breaking through to the 8-star Dou King, she will take another Douling pill and reach the 9-star Dou King. She is indeed not far away from breaking through to the 9-star Dou King. Thinking of this, Yue Mei replied sweetly, "This suggestion is indeed good, then I will take Master Xiaoling and this little sister to the holy city, and after Master Xiaoling gets what he wants, you have to keep your promise." Seeing that Yue Mei agreed to the proposal, Xiaoling nodded. Anyway, he would not waste much time by refining a Douling Dan for Yue Mei. He could also earn 2 copies of the ingredients for the Douling Dan. He was worthy of being a T0 professional in Douqi mainland. Alchemist, this status is different. Holding Ziyan's hand and standing up, Xiaoling stood up and said to Yue Mei who was opposite him, "Without further delay, let's set off. Don't worry, I still have the credibility as an alchemist. As long as you exchange the sand mandala and prepare the medicinal materials, I will help you refine it." Seeing both Xiaoling and Yue Mei stand up, Yue Mei also stood up and said, "Since Master Xiaoling is so impatient, let's set off now." After saying this, he led the 2 of them out of the attic. After saying hello to the guards outside the attic, Yue Mei spread her fighting spirit wings and flew towards the Snake Clan's holy city with Xiaoling and Ziyan. Chapter 57 Queen Medusa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaoling, who was flying in the air, took out the map of Tagore Desert that he got from Haibodong. He looked at it carefully and found that the distance from the Mei snake tribe to the holy city of the snake people was not very far. It only takes less than 2 hours for Rayquaza to wake up, but after all, this is one of his trump cards for leaving the snake tribe after the deal fails, so it's better not to expose it easily, relying on the cultivation of the 3 fighting kings and the fact that several of them were moving with all their strength. After more than half a day, everyone was about to arrive at the holy city of the snake tribe. The boundless yellow sand dances in the strong wind, and a sunset slowly slides from the horizon, reflecting a golden world. In the eyes of the 3 people, there was a huge city looming there in the endless desert. Seeing the majestic city standing in the desert in front of him, Xiaoling asked Yue Mei on the side, "Commander Yue Mei, that should be the holy city of your snake people, right?" Hearing Xiaoling's questioning words, Yue Mei nodded and replied to Xiaoling, "Yes, the holy city of our snake people is ahead. The elders and queen of the snake people have been guarding it all year round. Can you tighten me even more, otherwise the snake human guards will definitely attack you without hesitation when they see 2 human fighting kings breaking into the snake human holy city." Xiaoling nodded and indicated that he would do as he was told, so he took Ziyan's little hand and flew not far behind Yue Mei. As the distance from the snake tribe holy city got closer and closer, in Xiaoling's field of vision, many huge stones began to appear in the uniform yellow sand around this majestic city. Behind the rocks is the temple city where Queen Medusa lives. Perhaps due to martial law, the gates of this huge city are now closed. On the city wall, heavily armed snake guards patrol back and forth on the city wall. In the empty spaces on the city wall, more than a dozen people. The big bird with a black head was also circling back and forth, its sharp eyes constantly scanning outside the city. Any slightest movement would make these beasts sound an alarm. Xiaoling's eyes swept over the city wall with some curiosity. Although they were far apart, he could still find that the overall strength of the snake guards in this city was definitely stronger than the charming snake tribe last night, and among those snake guards among them, there are occasionally some snake men with strange costumes. These snake men have indifferent faces and stand on the city wall like pillars. However, Xiaoling took a cursory glance and found that there were a few feet around these snake men. No other snake people dared to set foot in this place. It was obvious that they were quite afraid of these snake people in strange costumes. These guys must be the Medusa guards, right? They are indeed more powerful than ordinary guards. But these are not a threat to you, so don't worry too much. He looked back and looked at the snake guards on the city wall. With eyes wide open, Xiaoling continued to follow Yue Mei towards the city gate. After a while, the three of them arrived at the gate of the snake tribe's holy city, and the snake tribe guards also turned their attention to Xiaoling and the others. Seeing Yue Mei, one of the 8 commanders, arriving with 2 human-like Doupo warriors, everyone was a little confused. A snake-human guard whose strength had reached the peak of fighting spirit came to the front of the city wall with a snake tail. He first bowed his hands to Yue Mei, and then asked in a puzzled tone, "Commander Yue Mei, may I ask what's behind you? What is the purpose of these 2 powerful warriors? If they don't know their motives for coming here, we will never allow them to enter the snake tribe's holy city." Hearing the guard chief's inquiry, Yue Mei replied, "Neither of these 2 are strong men from the surrounding countries. The man among them is a 6th-grade alchemist of Canaan College, and the girl is also a warcraft transformer. I have no ill intentions towards the snake tribe. I came to the snake tribe just to make a deal with the queen. It is absolutely beneficial and harmless to the snake tribe. Don't worry, I will not betray the snake tribe." After listening to Yue Mei's explanation, the captain of the guard took a closer look at Xiaoling and Ziyan. After recalling it in his mind, he found that among the information from the snake tribe, several people from the surrounding empires had cultivated them. There are no portraits of these 2 people among the Doupo experts, and with Commander Yue Mei's guarantee, it seems that these 2 people are indeed not hostile to the snake people. Moreover, in the holy city of the snake tribe, there are not only Queen Medusa, but also 4 elders whose cultivation has reached the peak of Doupo. They are just 2 Doupo, so they are nothing to worry about. So he bowed to Yue Mei and said, "In that case, I won't be able to stop you anymore." After speaking, he signaled to the surrounding snake-human guards that there was no danger here. Then he returned to his post. After getting the consent of the snake man, Yue Mei said no more, took Xiaoling and Ziyan, and continued flying towards the center of the holy city of the snake people, where Queen Medusa lived. In front of a magnificent palace, Xiaoling and others retracted their fighting wings, fell from the air, and came to the main entrance of the palace. After Yue Mei had some discussions with the Medusa guards, Xiaoling and Ziyan followed Yue Mei through the layers of guards and walked into a magnificent hall. Long before Yue Mei, Xiaoling and Ziyan appeared on the walls of the snake tribe's holy city. The snake men used a special secret method of voice transmission to convey what Yue Mei said to the ears of Queen Medusa, perhaps because she heard that Xiaoling was a 6th-grade alchemist and wanted to make a deal with the snake people. The queen of the snake people was interested, so she came to the ordinary meeting hall in advance, so that Xiaoling didn't have to wait here for a while. Looking into the hall, I saw a charming woman with a snake tail lying on the most convenient seat, which could be called a luxurious chair. Next to her, a snake woman holding a spear was guarding her. As expected, these 2 snake women were the Queen Medusa, who was both famous for her beauty and her fierce reputation, and her personal guard leader Hua Xie. Xiaoling looked at Queen Medusa with some curiosity and was surprised. Medusa's face was so beautiful that it almost reached the level of enchantment. A pair of narrow and long light purple eyes, with a flowing eye wave, were naturally charming and could almost attract every man's attention. She was wearing an elegant purple brocade robe, and her body beneath the robe was plump and exquisite, just like a ripe peach, exuding a faint charm. Her 3,000 black hair casually fell from her shoulders, vertically hanging down from her slender waist. Under the brocade robe, a purple snake tail was revealed, swaying slightly, with a wild and enchanting attraction that made people inexplicably feel hot all over. Chapter 58 Transaction, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After being stunned for a moment, Xiaoling regained his composure before the people around him reacted. He is not a country boy who has never seen the world. We, Xiao, can't make a fool of ourselves outside. We don't want to be a reckless hero at the moment. He planned to at least have someone with strength above Zong or above before this beautiful snake could take a fancy to him. Queen Medusa, who was lying on her side on the amethyst throne on the high platform, saw Yue Mei walking in with Xiaoling and Ziyan. Her slightly closed eyes slowly opened and she cast her gaze behind Yue Mei. Xiaoling and Ziyan, with his cultivation that has reached the peak of Do King, Xiaoling can easily detect the cultivation of Xiaoling and Ziyan without using the disguise skill. A 4-star Do King and a peak Do King, squinting her narrow eyes, relying on years of intuition and rich combat experience, Medusa noticed that there was something unusual about the two people in front of her. If they really made a move, it would definitely not be as simple as their superficial strength. Yue Mei stepped forward first, bowed respectfully to Queen Medusa, and then said, "See Her Majesty the Queen." Looking away from Xiaoling and Ziyan, Queen Medusa calmly replied, "Sit down." Then she pointed to a few chairs around and said to a few people, "I probably know your purpose of coming. As far as I know, let's sit down and talk about it first." After hearing this, Yue Mei replied, "Thank you, Her Majesty the Queen." Twisting the snake's tail, he found a chair and sat on it. Xiaoling also held Ziyan's little hand and sat opposite Yue Mei. After a few people sat down, Xiaoling turned to Medusa and said, "Hello, Queen Medusa, let me introduce myself. I am Xiaoling, an elder of the alchemy department from Canaan College. I have taken the liberty to come to the snake tribe this time. I want to make a deal with the snake people, and I want to exchange it for a sand mandala, which is a medicinal material I need to refine a pill." After Xiaoling finished speaking, he vaguely gestured to Ziyan. The tacit understanding they had gained over so many years made Ziyan instantly understand what Xiaoling meant. She was planning to let herself brag a few words, so he spoke to Medusa on the high platform with a milky voice. "This snake tribe's sister, Xiaoling, is a 6th grade alchemist. As long as you are willing to take out the sand if you buy a mandala, you will definitely get a satisfactory reward." Medusa, who was lying on her side just now, also slowly sat up straight. After hearing Xiaoling speak, she originally planned to embarrass a few people and raise the value of the sand mandala, but when the little girl in purple clothes spoke, she even called her sister. She always felt an inexplicable sense of comfort in her heart. When she looked at the little girl in purple clothes carefully, she felt that she had grown up to her own taste. The more she looked at her, the more cute she became. He originally planned to bargain, but when he was about to speak, the words were swallowed back into his stomach before he could make a sound. Immediately he looked at the purple-clothed girl opposite with curious eyes, and said in a curious tone, "Little guy, what is your name? You are a monster incarnate, right?" Ziyan, who was sitting aside, listened to Queen Medusa asking her, and remembered what Xiaoling secretly said to her before. Ziyan, Queen Medusa of the snake people, is a rich woman. She is in charge of all the medicinal materials in the snake people. You have to establish a good relationship with her when the time comes. When she is in a better mood, you can casually take the medicine from the snake people. I have brought out some medicinal herbs for you from the treasure house. Are you still worried about not having any medicinal herbs to eat in the future? That in his mind, he couldn't help but think of the scene when he followed Medusa to the snake tribe's treasure house to select medicinal materials. His eyes shone with golden light, and he quickly replied, "My name is Ziyan, and I am already a 5th-level peak monster. I have been there since I can remember. From then on, I wandered alone in the Warcraft Mountains without meeting a single person of my own race. I lived alone. Later, I accidentally ate a shape-shifting grass and ended up like this. Although I became a human, but there is no way to change back to my original appearance. I can only wait until I take the transformation pill, or after my cultivation level is improved, and the side effects of the transformation grass are eliminated, then I can regain my monster body. Then I can figure out what race I am, and then you can find your family. After listening to Ziyan's self-introduction, Medusa on the opposite side couldn't help but feel a little sorry for this little girl. She still has many tribesmen, and this little girl has been traveling alone since she can remember. She must have suffered a lot, and recalling her dead sister, Medusa became a little sad. After staring at Ziyan's little face for a while, Medusa suddenly said, "Ziyan, do you want to be my sister? As long as you are in the territory of the snake people, I will definitely not let you be wronged." As soon as these words were spoken, Hua Shi, Yue Mei and Xiao Ling were all a little surprised. Yue Mei and Hua Shi were thinking the same thing. The queen, who is ruthless and arrogant, wants to be a sister to this little girl when she sees her for the first time. How is this possible? After Xiao Ling was slightly surprised, he didn't think about it anymore. After all, Medusa and Ziyan hit it off right away in the original work and became good sisters. Now that they meet, they may just like each other. This Medusa just said it. Just based on age, Ziyan, who is over 1,400 years old, should be much older than Medusa, who is over 300 years old. Hearing that Medusa wanted to make her sister, Ziyan thought for a while and replied, "As long as you give me delicious medicinal materials, I will be your sister, but just a friend's kind of sister. I will not stay in the snake people." Although it didn't meet her expectations, Medusa still nodded and said to Ziyan, "No problem, as long as you want, the door of the snake people is always open to you." Seeing that the two of them were about to divert the topic, Xiao Ling winked at Ziyan. Ziyan, who was chatting with Medusa, noticed it and remembered that she still had something to do. So she stepped forward and hugged Medusa's arm, and said in a baby voice, "Sister Medusa, Xiao Ling wants a sand mandala. You can exchange a pair of plants with her. You can ask him to refine pills for you. The quality of the pills he refines is much better than others." After stroking Ziyan's little head lovingly, Medusa cast her eyes on Xiao Ling and asked curiously, "Since you want to exchange the sand mandala, I wonder what bargaining chips you can bring out." The sand mandala is also a precious medicinal material for the snake people. If one is missing, a snake person with extraordinary potential will be unable to fuse the snake monster that suits him. If the bargaining chips are not enough, even if Ziyan helps you talk, I will not exchange with you. Since Ziyan praised Xiao Ling so much, Medusa became a little interested. She didn't know what kind of bargaining chips this sixth-grade alchemist could bring out. After all, her identity is the queen of the snake people, and she has to strive for more benefits for the snake people. Chapter 59 Transaction, Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Ling, who was on the opposite side, heard Medusa's inquiry, thought for a moment, and then said, "As long as the snake tribe can prepare 3 ingredients for the broken sect pill, I can help Queen Medusa refine one. Zong Dan, the reward is just that mandala of sand." Now that the Queen's cultivation has reached its limit at the peak of Do Huang, I believe that with the help of Zong Dan, it will not be difficult to become Do Zong. When she heard the word Zong Dan, Medusa's pupils narrowed, but her heart was filled with waves. She is the majestic Queen Medusa of the snake tribe, and her cultivation has reached the peak of the Do Emperor for decades. However, due to problems with her own bloodline, she has been unable to break through the Do Zong. Nowadays, the snake people are hostile to several surrounding empires and live in the depths of the Tagore Desert. This is not what the snake people are willing to accept. The body of the snake people is already cold, and the Tagore Desert is extremely hot. As the queen of the snake people, the biggest hope is to take the snake people out of this boundless desert. Previously, I had planned to use the strange fire to evolve my bloodline so that I could break through to the Dozong. That would be a narrow escape. Now there is a chance to get a sect-breaking pill. Although it cannot improve one's bloodline potential like the strange fire evolution, the cultivation talent is strengthened. However, there is basically no risk in taking a Zong pill to upgrade your cultivation level to Dozong. Even if you fail, your cultivation level will not be reduced. Winning a good living space for the snake people is what Queen Medusa is most concerned about, and it is also the reason why she wants to use strange fire to evolve. Now that there is a better way, Medusa is obviously moved. Nodding, Medusa replied, I agree to this condition. Since you can refine the Pozong pill, the prescription should have been prepared. Show me the required medicinal materials. Hearing that Medusa agreed to the deal, Xiaoling felt a little better. He took out a list of medicinal materials for refining the Pozong pill from the Neji, activated his fighting spirit, and floated it in front of her. This prescription contains all the necessary medicinal materials for refining the Pozong pill. Seeing that Medusa and Ziyan have a good relationship now, and they agreed to the deal so quickly, Xiaoling does not intend to do anything in it. Stretching out a slender hand, Medusa took the list of medicinal materials and looked at the various medicinal materials recorded on it, her face becoming a little ugly. After all, the snake people live in the depths of the Tagore Desert, and their resources are very scarce. They cannot collect 3 medicinal materials for Pozong Dan, and there are only 1 or 2 strains for several main medicines. Seeing Medusa's face, Xiaoling probably guessed that with the resources of the snake people, she might not be able to get 3 prescriptions for the zone-breaking pill, so she said, if Queen Medusa can't get 3 copies of the zone-breaking pill, the missing part of the medicinal materials can be exchanged for some heavenly materials and earthly treasures of equal value. Moreover, the medicinal materials I recorded on the medicinal materials list are all needed for refining, and there are absolutely no private editions. Medusa was relieved to hear that medicinal materials of equal value could be exchanged. Even though the snake people did not have many resources, they still had some main ingredients for refining 6th-grade elixirs after so many years of family wealth. It is true that the snake tribe cannot collect 3 complete ingredients for the broken sect pill, and there are only 1 or 2 ingredients for some of the main medicines. I would like to ask Master Xiaoling to come with me and go to the snake tribe's treasury to collect the medicine for refining the broken sect pill. The few medicinal plants that are missing will be exchanged for items of equal value. As long as Master Xiaoling likes them, just tell me. After saying that, he sat up from the throne, holding Ziyan's little hand. Twisting the snake's tail, he headed towards the snake tribe's treasure house. Seeing this scene, Xiaoling stood up and followed Medusa. Looking at Ziyan in front of her, she was chattering around Medusa. Xiaoling couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth, and muttered in her heart, I don't know if letting her have a good relationship with Medusa is a good thing or a bad thing. If she doesn't want to leave the snake people, it will be a big loss. After walking for a period of time, the 3 of them finally arrived at the snake tribe's treasure house. Soul perception was released from the center of his eyebrows, and Xiaoling noticed that there were several snake-human guards around him, hidden in the dark. Most of them have Douling cultivation, and the strongest one among them has a cultivation level around the 5-star Do King. Medusa first stepped forward to communicate with the guards, then nodded to Xiaoling and Ziyan, indicating that they could go in with her. The 3 of them passed through a black door about 5 meters high. After walking in the passage inlaid with moonstones for a few minutes, they entered the snake tribe's treasure house. Ziyan on the side sniffed it with her nose and felt the various medicinal materials in the treasure house. She felt a little excited, her eyes were shining, and her saliva was about to flow out. Xiaoling really didn't lie to me. There are indeed a lot of medicinal materials. Medusa first took Xiaoling to the area where the medicinal materials were stored. She first took out a sand mandala, and then selected the medicinal materials needed to refine the Pozong pill owned by the snake tribe and gave them to Xiaoling, then signaled Xiaoling to select some medicinal treasures of equal value to exchange for the missing value. Xiaoling's eyes scanned the medicinal materials and found that they were all ordinary medicinal materials, and there was no chance of missing them. He selected a medicinal plant that could be used to refine the 6th grade Earth Spirit Pill, Earth Core Fire Jiji, and also selected several herbs that could be used to refine the Huangji Pill and Douling Pill. As long as these medicinal materials are refined into elixirs that can directly improve cultivation, the value will be multiplied several times. With Xiaoling's super high elixir making rate, when the time comes to trade these elixirs, he will definitely make a lot of money. After selecting the herbs, the 3 of them left the treasure house of the snake people. What made Xiaoling laugh and cry was that when Ziyan left, she held a herb in each hand and chewed a fruit in her mouth. After handing the 2 herbs in her hand to Xiaoling, Ziyan hesitantly said, Xiaoling, Xiaoling, help me refine these 2 herbs into delicious sugar pills later. Bending down and touching the soft purple hair, Xiaoling took the herbs handed over by Ziyan and smiled, "Don't worry, I have never embezzled your herbs. When I need them, I will exchange them with pills of equal value." Seeing that Medusa was so friendly to Ziyan, Xiaoling did not intend to let her wait for a while, and he also planned to leave the snake people as soon as possible, so Haibodong must be waiting anxiously. After they returned to the hall, Xiaoling took out a porcelain bottle from his ring, handed it to Medusa, and said, "Your Majesty, since the deal has been reached, I will give this Bodong Dan to you. Ziyan and I have things to deal with, so we won't stay here for long." Chapter 60, Bodong Dan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing the porcelain bottle handed to her, and hearing Xiaoling say that it contained a broken sect pill, Medusa subconsciously took it and uncorked it eagerly. Looking into the porcelain bottle, a milky white elixir was in the center of the porcelain bottle. It shook a few times from time to time, as if it was spiritual. After smelling the fragrance of the medicine wafting out of the porcelain bottle, Medusa was not an alchemist. But it is also certain that the quality of this Bodong Dan is definitely of the highest level. Looking at Xiaoling, who was chatting with Ziyan, he muttered in his heart, "It seems that this guy is quite kind." After putting the cork on the bottle and putting the porcelain bottle containing the Bodong pill into the ring, Medusa said to Xiaoling and the others, "I didn't expect you to have prepared the pill in advance. I thought you planned to, after refining it in the snake tribe, leave." Nodding, Xiaoling replied, "This sect-breaking pill is also unique to me. I originally planned to use it when I broke through the Do sect. It just happened to happen that I had a deal with Her Highness the Queen. It doesn't help me at the moment. There is no loss in trading. Anyway, with these materials, I can refine another sect-breaking pill before I break through the Dozong. This sect-breaking pill is the last one left among the 3 extracted from the system. Anyway, Xiaoling plans to get a strange fire when his cultivation level reaches high star Do Huang. Then he can directly broke through Dozong." Reaching out to hold Ziyan's little hand, Xiaoling said again, "Her Majesty the Queen must be eager to use this sect-breaking pill, so Ziyan and I won't disturb you. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about today's transaction. Say half a word." Ziyan on the side looked at Medusa with some reluctance and said, "Sister Medusa, Xiaoling and I will leave first. If we have time, I will come to the snake tribe to see you." Although she had just met Medusa, Ziyan felt inexplicably that she had met her too late. In Ziyan's heart, Medusa was already one of her few friends. Nodding towards Xiaoling, Medusa said, "Thank you, Master Xiaoling, for keeping the news secret. I won't keep you here any longer." Then he stepped forward and touched Ziyan's head, and said softly, "That's what we said, don't turn around and forget about me. Be careful outside, don't get hurt. Don't worry, I am very strong." Xiaoling, who was on the side, saw that the 2 people seemed to be talking non-stop again, so he directly took Ziyan's hand and left a message, "It's not too late, we have urgent matters, so we'll leave first." After that, Ziyan was dragged out of the hall. Seeing this scene, Yue Mei was at a loss as she hadn't received her reward yet, so he bowed to Medusa and said, "Your Majesty, my subordinates will leave first. There are still some matters with the tribe that have not been dealt with." Nodding steadily, Medusa replied calmly, "Well, then you should leave first." Yue Mei didn't hesitate, twisted the snake's tail, and followed the footsteps of Xiaoling and Ziyan. Looking at the backs of several people leaving, Medusa murmured to herself, "Xiaoling, such a young 6th-grade alchemist, came to the Tagore Desert from the Canaan Academy in the Black Corner domain for more than just exchange. A medicinal plant. I don't know what kind of disturbance this person's arrival will cause in the northwest continent." Then he took out the porcelain bottle containing Bodong Dan from Neji and held it tightly, with a firm light flashing in his eyes. "No matter what changes there are, I will also find a better home for the snake people." Medusa told Hua Snake on the side, "Don't let out a word about what happened today, otherwise you will be questioned. Please inform me that I will be practicing in seclusion recently, and no one is allowed to disturb me. Anyone who disobeys the order will be punished. Severe punishment." After finishing speaking, he twisted the slender snake tail and walked towards his training island. Hua Shier's reply came from behind, I obey, I promise to keep my mouth shut. I wish the queen can successfully break through the Dozong realm. After Xiaoling and Ziyan walked out of the hall, they heard the sound of rustling behind them and couldn't help but look back, seeing Yue Mei following him. Xiaoling recalled that there was still a spirit fighting pill that had not been refined. I was thinking about other things just now and almost forgot about this matter. Nodding slightly towards Yue Mei, Xiaoling asked curiously, Commander Yue Mei, have you prepared 3 materials for refining Douling Dan? Facing Xiaoling with a charming smile, Yue Mei said softly, originally, the medicinal materials on my body are still a bit lacking. Just now when you went to the treasure house to select items, I had an exchange with Commander Huaxia. I have managed to gather 3 ingredients for refining the Douling Dan. I don't know when Master Xiaoling will be free to help me refine it. Touching his chin, Xiaoling had a headache. He didn't have any Douling pills in his body now. Do he want to keep them for Yue Mei to refine? He shook his head. In order not to waste time, he had no choice but to refine the elixir while riding the Rayquaza. It usually takes about 10 days for a 5th-grade alchemist to refine Douling Dan. Xiaoling's medicine refining skills have now reached the peak of the 6th level. With the help of the strange fire, he can refine a variety of medicinal materials at once, and can refine a Douling Dan in half a day. After only thinking for a moment, Xiaoling replied, then give me the 3 ingredients for refining the Douling Dan, and I will help you refine it on the way. Although he was a little confused about how Xiaoling could make elixirs on the roadside, he still handed over 3 copies of the ingredients for Douling Dan to Xiaoling. He reached out to take the medicinal materials, checked them, and found that they were not missing. He nodded with satisfaction and put them into the Neji one by one. He nodded to Yue Mei and Ziyan behind him to follow, then spread out his fighting spirit wings and flew towards the sky. Seeing this scene, Ziyan and Yue Mei also spread their fighting wings and chased in the direction of Xiaoling. After leaving the holy city of the snake tribe, Xiaoling patted the sleeping Rayquaza in his sleeves, touched the smooth head, and said with a smile, little guy, you have to go to work again. Rayquaza also woke up from his deep sleep. He first licked Xiaoling's palm, then got out of the cuffs, jumped into the air, and appeared in front of Yue Mei. After feeding a 4th-grade elixir into his mouth, Xiaoling said, this time you get bigger and I sit on your head. You don't have to fly too fast this time, just be more steady. Hearing this, Rayquaza nodded humanely, and then under Yue Mei's shocked gaze, his body slowly grew larger, and his aura also increased steadily. At the end, the Do Huang's aura was clearly revealed.